Well, my first guest, Judy, says that she had the perfect husband for the first 30 years of marriage. They shared date nights, vacations, weekends, camping, and trips to Disney World with their precious daughter. Judy says her husband was her soulmate and he was her best friend. And Danny agrees. He says, look, it was a true fairy tale marriage until last year when he says he turned into a complete monster. That's what he says. Now he's here to find out if the damage he's done to his relationship can ever be repaired. Take a look.
My marriage was a wonderful marriage. Every marriage has its ups and downs. We didn't have very many downs.
Judy and I had a picture-perfect marriage. I believe we were made for each other.
In my mind, I thought things started to change when his father passed away.
Last year, when I turned 53, I felt like I was at the end of my life, and you just want to live every day like it's your last day.
I didn't know what was going on with my husband. He started not coming home from work until later in the evening. I said, why would you not come home after you're working 12 hours?
When I had the midlife crisis mindset, just breaking the normal routine was a sense of freedom for me, wanting to do what I wanted, when I wanted to do it, for as long as I wanted to do it.
I would try my best to shake his being. I love you, why are you doing this? And it didn't rock it. I said, you're like an ice man. You're so cold and distant. Are you in there? And then he started getting angry.
Just really didn't want anybody to question me for what I was doing or where I had been. Normal things in life would make me angry. Always had a lot of questions in my head swirling around like a tornado.
He would always go downstairs and make coffee and donuts, and he would bring it up to me before he went to work. And he kissed me goodbye, I love you, baby, have a good day, and off he would go. That evening, he came home. He says, Judy, I want to tell you something. I want a divorce. I don't want to be the perfect husband. I just want to live a single life. But everything's going to be okay. And he laughed at me. I said, what is wrong with you? And that's when it started to fall apart.
I did tell her I wanted a divorce, but I cannot remember anything about that day. It is a blur.
There were no real signs. I just thought my husband was being challenged with mourning the death of his father.
After I asked Judy for a divorce, I stayed 5 more months before I actually moved out.
Danny had become very secretive. I hired a private investigator because I thought my husband was mentally ill. The private investigator told me that a woman had stayed the night at Danny's house.
When Judy questioned me about the other woman, I did lie to her.
He was furious. He was so upset, he pulled out of the driveway cussing me. Danny never cussed me. And that's when it really started going bad.
Well, Judy says when she found out that Danny was having an affair, she raged in a way she never thought she was capable of.
Judy came to the house, knocked on the door. I didn't let her come in because there was someone else there.
I thought it was odd he wasn't answering the door, but his truck was there. I went into Danny's truck and retrieved his cell phone. I started reading all these text messages from the girl he was seeing. Love you, Tiger. Gonna be blonde tonight. I'm scared. You gonna hurt me? I was standing there reading these messages, and Danny walked over to me and grabbed my arm, and something in me just let loose. I just took my fist and beat my husband in his head.
She did hit me quite a few times upside the head and in the face.
I got back in the car, and I left and went to a parking place and just cried and screamed. I called 3 people to let them know that if I go to jail, please come bail me out, because my husband will probably press charges against me.
Okay, I know why he's here. You want to put this back together?
Absolutely.
No question about it?
No question.
Whatever it takes, you want to put this back
Whatever
together?
it takes.
Even though you blew it up?
Yes.
Okay. Why are you here?
I need help. I look at him, and my heart loves him, but I'm so mad at him. I don't know if this can be fixed.
Well, other than the day you whopped him upside the head several times, have you told him how you feel?
Absolutely, I have.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely, I have told him. I've told him,
What have you told him?
I've told him, how could you do this? We have a beautiful family. You know, your actions destroyed everything that we have lived for. You know, the woman, just everything that he has done. And I'm thinking, how can the love of my life just throw me away like a piece of trash and not look back? He had no emotion. He was not sincere. He didn't love me. He was just so angry. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a marriage that can be repaired. So I'm here to ask you for some guidance, some teaching tools.
Now, you wrote me an email at one point that was lengthy and thoughtful, and you had no question that you wanted to fix this.
At that time, I had no question.
Okay, at that time.
I was still loving my husband, yes.
Right. And like I say, it was lengthy and thoughtful. I mean, you were very introspective. You talked about your feelings, what you wanted to do. We've heard from you as well. So why did you do this? What happened? Did you just wake up stupid one morning? What
Pretty
happened?
much, yes.
Because that's how you describe it, right? You said, I know, I just...
This feeling and mindset consumed me fairly quickly, and I had no idea what the definition of a midlife crisis was at that time.
Well, what is that? You said you didn't know what midlife crisis was. I still don't know what that means. You hear it a lot, you see it a lot, but what is that?
After the fact, after I'd read a lot of stuff she had put on the computer, it's a life-changing events like getting out of a routine or a schedule, doing things you normally would not do, things of that nature. And that just pretty much described me A to Z, the symptoms that I had.
I have every card that he's ever given me, 33 years worth. I left him a Valentine's card on the counter, telling him that I still loved him. He threw it away in the trash.
And later, she took up with another man, and instantly, your midlife crisis was over. Well, we posted a poll on Facebook asking, do you believe that men can really have a midlife crisis? Almost 90% of you said yes, and 11% said no. So most people, and you would certainly vote yes.
Yes.
At that point, you said you wanted to live every day like it was your last.
That's the feeling that you get, yes.
You felt a rush, like you had to do something today.
Adrenaline, even when you were tired, you still had adrenaline. That was one of the reasons for not coming home right after work. Just didn't want to end the day.
You had said there wasn't enough time in the day.
Not enough time in the day.
The days weren't long enough, he said.
Right. Well, but they were long enough to get a mistress, and yours were long enough to get a PI.
Yes.
So...
That did eventually come, yes.
Right. Now, you left her a note. I have the note here, this note. Tell me about this note.
At that point, I had begged my husband, threw myself at him, trying to save the marriage. And I come home one day, and there was this note that basically said to me, move on with your life. Find a friend, find a boyfriend. Be happy, because I am. I'm moving on.
Yeah. Well, I have the note. It was interesting. I mean, you said, at one point, you said, quote, I'm moving on with my life. I don't need your permission. I will do the divorce with or without your permission.
He did say that.
Just you move forward. Find a friend or whatever. Protect yourself and be careful.
In other words, he was giving me, in his mind, he was giving me the right to move on in my life, to find either a partner in life, because he didn't want any parts of that anymore.
Right. Did you have a girlfriend at that point?
I'm not sure exactly the time that letter was written.
You did.
It was on...
I do remember writing it, but not...
4 days after Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
This year.
I did.
Yes.
Yeah. 4 days after.
That was probably the beginning.
Day.
I know, because I left him a Valentine's card on the counter, telling him that I still loved him. Yeah, I did.
So you remember that?
I do. He threw it away in the trash. He did. It was hard. I have every card that he's ever given me. 33 years worth. Yeah.
And he threw yours in the trash.
He didn't want it. He wanted no parts of it. I didn't get any flowers or box of candy or a card, because he always said, In his cards, I love you, baby. You're my world. You know, so I didn't get that. That was just the beginning of the mess, the nightmare. Danny can't remember a lot of things that he did to me. That's what's so scary about this. He can't remember his temperaments. He can't remember how he treated me. You know, and that's what was scary, because I thought there was something mentally wrong with him.
Maybe there is.
Well, that's why I hired a private investigator. I thought the private investigator was going to tell me that my husband is mentally ill, that he's depressed, and all he's doing is going to work. I knew he was going to tell me that.
Well, a lot of times we use doctors for that.
Well, I had taken him, you know, it's funny you say that, because when he asked me for a divorce, I told him he needed to get his testosterone levels checked. I just thought, you know, maybe he's dipping. You know, women dip, they go up and down and they dip. And I thought maybe Danny was dipping. I didn't know that a man could dip. But he did. He was dipping. And I thought, well, we're going to find out. So I took him to his family the family physician. Yes. And they did blood work. And that day I told the doctor, I said, there's something wrong with my husband. There's something wrong with him.
He's dipping.
Can't you help him? You know? And she said, well, his blood tests come back okay. Everything's okay. And that's when I told her that there was something terribly wrong with this man. Yeah. Because you don't stay married 31 years and live the beautiful life that we had, and all of a sudden, he's just ready to toss it in the trash and walk away from everything. His daughter, his grandchildren, me, his partner in life. This man worshiped the ground I walked on. He held my hand. Yes. 33 years. A night never went by that man didn't kiss me when he went to bed. We went to bed at the same time. We took baths together every night. You don't do that.
We did.
You know, how many people can say they take a bath with their husband every night?
We probably had a connection.
Certainly not my wife. I haven't had a bath in 40 years. Take a crane to get me out of there.
We probably had a connection a few couples have.
Yeah.
Our connection that we had, I don't know of too many people that have it. It's like, you know, they wonder if we're both sick. I don't know.
And that comes to the point that I don't understand how it happened either. This
Well, we're going to
mindset.
talk about that. Let's take a break here. Judy took the note to heart. She did. He said, you need to find yourself a friend. She did. And is now caught between two lovers. We'll be right back.
I met a gentleman. It was a total instant attraction. When Danny found out that I was away with a man, he was going to drive to get me and make me come home. I'm on vacation with another man because my husband threw me away like a piece of trash.
Well, Danny says his midlife crisis hit at age 53, and in an instant, he decided to end his 30-year-long, too-good-to-be-true marriage to Judy. Now, after 10 devastating months, Judy says, she said, I got to start my life again. So she joined a dating website and met a man who she says she cannot stop thinking about.
I decided after 10 months that I needed to move forward with my life. I knew that he was not coming back, that he didn't want me. I was sitting on my couch Sunday evening, and I was on Match.com, and I decided to join.
Judy signed on to an online dating site and did tell me how many hits she got. The purpose behind that was to try and make me jealous.
I met a gentleman on Match.com. We had a phone conversation, and he did want to meet me. I walked up to him, embraced him, and I had not felt that way for a long time. It was a total instant attraction. My knees buckled when he grabbed me. This man changed everything. That first date was a wonderful week of my life. He took me away on vacation, and we just enjoyed company.
I came over to the house. Judy had left me a note on the counter that she had met someone and had gone away for the weekend.
Something woke up inside of him, and he realized that his wife was no longer there.
I did call her, crying to her on the phone, asking her to come back home to forgive me and telling her that I wanted her back in my life.
When Danny found out that I was away with a man, he was going to drive to get me and make me come home. He was calling my family, he was calling me, and it got to the point where Lawrence told me to turn the phone off. I'm on vacation with another man because my husband threw me away like a piece of trash. He didn't want me anymore.
Well, plot thickens. So that was a big step for you to go dating website.
It was.
Because like you said, 33 years together, 30 years of marriage. Then all of a sudden you're with a stranger.
I had been waiting for 10 months, and it was to the point where I just could not do it anymore. I thought I had waited long enough. This man showed no emotion. He showed me that he wasn't going to come home. So when I decided to go on that website and go on a date, which is something I had not hardly ever done in my life because I'd been with Danny, it was something new and exciting. And this man, when I met this man, he was genuine. And we met, and I actually, the day we met, that day, he threw his driver's license up on the table. He said, take a picture of this, send it to your mother, your brother, your sister, I'm taking you away. And I said, no, you're not. We went to dinner, had a really long dinner. That evening, he says, so you're going to go away with me? I said, yeah, what time you picking me up? And he took me away. We had a beautiful time, and immediately, this man just grabbed hold of my heart. I never wanted another man to touch me. I never wanted another man. I never wanted anybody else but Danny. You know, he's all I wanted.
I wasn't gone 10 months either.
Well, it was almost, it
I
was.
didn't move out until February.
I know, but you asked for the divorce in September.
I was emotionally not
Listen,
there.
I'm going to try to help you here, but this ain't about the math, okay? This is not about calendar math.
It's in like 10 years to me. It might have been 2 months, but it was 10 months.
Okay, was this the first man that you met when you went on the dating site?
No, I met one other gentleman for lunch. We had a lunch date, and
Didn't click?
no, because it wasn't anything I was looking for. I wasn't looking for a husband or a lover, or I was looking to get out of the house to find a friendship.
What was the difference between the first guy you met for lunch and the second guy you went away with?
Well, the second guy I went away with, when I met him, my legs buckled. He grabbed the hold of me. He grabbed a hold of me when I got out of the car at the racetrack, and he just grabbed a hold of me and says, come on, girl, we're going to go in here and talk. And we spent the whole afternoon into the evening together. And I felt so safe. It was a feeling I'd not had for a very long time. Yeah. I mean, your legs just don't buckle when you meet people. No. And I work around a lot of men, professional people. Yeah. So this is not anything that is normal.
This was the first buckle.
Absolutely, it was. It was.
Yeah. In 2 ways?
Yes.
I mean, did you spend the weekend with him?
I spent the week with him.
The week?
I did.
Yeah.
And Danny, when he found that letter, because I asked him to watch the house. Nobody knew that I was going anywhere except for my sister. And I left on a counter Lawrence's information on the counter in case I disappeared. Because you don't know when you go away with a man. You don't know if he's going to bring you back.
Right. You left a note to him to keep an eye on the house?
I did.
You were going, did you tell him where you were going?
No.
Did you tell him you were going with a man?
No.
You said, I'm out of here.
I said, I'm going to go away for a while. Please watch the house. I'll be back. I might have even put that I'll be back the following weekend or something.
Yeah.
And then on the other counter, I left all Lawrence's contact information, the color of his truck, his driver's license, in case, his website, in case I disappeared. And I told my sister, I said, I'm going to go away. And I said, there's information on the counter if I don't come back.
So you just wanted, that wasn't really safety, you just wanted to know who to electrocute if you didn't come back.
Right, if I didn't come back home.
Okay,
right.
Who to catch and kill.
Who to come look for.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is it my understanding, there's no country song that says, how can I miss you if you won't leave? She left.
She did.
She took up with another man.
She did.
And instantly, your midlife crisis was over. You texted Lawrence and told him to back off.
I love this woman more now than ever.
How can she know that it's not going to happen again next month or next year? Danny says when he found out Judy was on a weekend-long date with another man, he suddenly, in his words, in an instant, wanted Judy back. Now, here's an excerpt from a note that he wrote to her to try to get her back. He said, quote, "My tornado has stopped. The trigger was you might be with someone else, and that made me realize how much I love you. I am more in love with you now. I was never going to divorce you. That's why I never took any more furniture. I was just being an with my temper, but it is all gone. I will get you anything, rings, cars, or we can travel anywhere. I have made one mistake in 33 years. I think I deserve a second chance. We're humans, not machines. We can start with counseling again." And you texted Lawrence and told him to back off.
At that very weekend, the same weekend she went away, I told him that, yes, I did. The number was on the counter. I did text him, and I asked him to, as man to man, please back off. Let me try and fix my marriage. We have a daughter, grandchildren.
Did you know that he got a text?
Yes, Lawrence told me that he had texted Danny, and he wanted to know how Danny got the text number. Because if I did not give it to him, that he was, he didn't really like that. But he did tell Danny that Danny is the one that brought the evil into the marriage, and that he wasn't going to walk away unless I told him to. He had no intentions of giving in to Danny.
So now you are completely clear on what you want to do.
Absolutely.
You want your marriage back together, your relationship back together. You want your wife back. You want to get back to this unreal life that you had before.
Yes, I am 10 times more appreciative of what I had or maybe still have than ever before. I love this woman more now than ever. Even after 33 years being together, my love is probably 10 times stronger. Obviously, because I've been waiting and just waiting for her to maybe. I never know when the next day she might wake up and say, I want to fix things with my husband again. So I'm more appreciative of my life, my wife, my beautiful family.
Okay, but since you don't have any insight into why you just woke up and turned into a monster or whatever.
No.
Iceman.
Iceman, monster, got stupid, whatever we call it.
My brother has a version of it. He's a man. He says maybe the devil's tried to divert you because of you coming closer to Christ, and I can't. He's my brother, and I can't ignore what he's saying.
Well, no, but I don't think the devil made me do it's going to get you.
No, I'm not saying that's what happened. That's his version of what he thinks.
I don't. Listen, I'm very much a Christian, and I don't make light of any of that at all. But I also, you know what foxhole Christians are, right?
Yes.
Yeah, foxhole Christians. It's like two guys in a foxhole, and the shells are coming in. He says, "Are you a Christian?" His buddy says, "Well, I am tonight."
There's no atheist in a foxhole.
Yeah, exactly. But since you don't have insight into why this happened to begin with, how can she know that it's not going to happen again next month or next year? Because it seems, and I don't mean to, this is not an insult to you, it's just, please, but you see this, if there's a dog in the backyard and they've got a toy or a bone over there, it can lay there forever and the dog not have any interest into it. But you let another dog walk in that gate and walk over to that toy or bone, and you got you a dog fight going on, because the dog wasn't interested in the toy or the bone till another dog was. Then all of a sudden he wants to repossess it, he wants to re-own it. But then as soon as he does, then it loses its interest to him again. And that she's got to be thinking here, okay, so he instantly wanted me back when somebody else showed an interest in me, but he sure didn't for months before that. So now he repossesses me, the other dog walks out of the yard, and then I'm just over there again like the forgotten toy.
I understand her.
That's got to be part of your concern, because you're saying, am I going to walk away from Lawrence and back to him?
Why would I give up a good thing and go back to something that almost destroyed me? Why would I give him that?
Well, I'm going to answer that. Next, Judy says she can't choose between her husband, Danny, and her boyfriend, Lawrence. Danny, 33 years history. Lawrence buckled her knees. She wants to make a decision and says, whatever I say goes. I don't want that responsibility, but I am going to give him some things to think about. We'll be right back.
I'm in this situation now where I have my husband pulling on me, wanting me to come back to him, and then I have Lawrence, on the other hand, that wants to spend the rest of his life with me.
A couple months ago, I moved back into our home. We decided to try and fix our marriage. Everything was like normal. During those 4 days, it was like a honeymoon again. We were intimate every day. And then 4 days later, she said she wasn't ready to do it yet.
As long as I have those visions in my head of that other woman, I can't fix this.
She's still angry for what I had done and also had feelings for another person. So I continued living there, sleeping in another bedroom. She would continue to see him.
Bringing Danny back into the home has really impaired my relationship with Lawrence. I don't let Lawrence pick me up at my house. If I go away with Lawrence, I meet him somewhere. You have to be respectful.
Well, comment on that.
That's very painful to stay at home and watch that happen.
I've been very tortured since I let him move back in to see that I'm still living my life, one day at a time.
But I have
But you say it's respectful to go meet your boyfriend down the street.
Well, the way I look at this is Danny dissolved my marriage vows. I have a marriage certificate. I don't have a marriage. He dissolved the vows that we took before God, and he dissolved them with his actions. So I don't have a marriage. I have a marriage certificate that holds me legally bound to him and all our assets together. But as for Lawrence coming in, I don't want to disrespect Danny or hurt Danny. Danny is being tortured ever since he moved back into the house to see that Judy is up, functional life, and moving on one day at a time. Judy can't take a week at a time, but Judy can do one day at a time. And as for Lawrence, Lawrence is willing to accept one day at a time. You know, he knows that there might not be a tomorrow for him. He wants me to be happy, and he wants me to be in my happy place. Danny did not care if I had a happy place. And for him to want me back now, how do I trust that? I don't know how to trust that. But I'm like thinking like you were just saying. The dog didn't want the bone, and then the dog wants the bone now because another dog wanted the bone. You know. So
I knew you'd get it.
I got it. I got it. But the thing is, Lawrence doesn't want to give up his bone now. He's not willing to do that.
And neither does Danny.
So, you know.
Well, Judy says she's having a tough time choosing between her husband of 31 years and her new boyfriend of 3 months, a man who Judy says is like a drug to her.
When I'm with Lawrence on the weekends, I'm in my happy place. And then as time goes by and I have to get ready to go back home, I have to go back to reality. And I have to fight again with my emotions. Danny is the Danny that I have known for 33 years. Do I trust him? Absolutely not. And that's what I'm having a hard time with here. How do you trust someone that walked in one afternoon and just walked away from it all and then wants to come back like nothing has happened here? Lawrence makes me happy. I had the opportunity to stay with Lawrence. I would stay with Lawrence. But the reality of it is, Danny and I have our assets, we have our family, and there's a lot to be worked out. And I don't know if I'm strong enough to go through all that. Lawrence wants me to be happy. He thinks I need a break from everything. And he offered me to come be with him, and he would pay me my salary for 3 months, take a mental vacation from everything. I'm in this situation now where I have my husband pulling on me, wanting me to come back to him, and then I have Lawrence, on the other hand, that wants to spend the rest of his life with me. I can't decide which way to go, because either way I go, somebody's going to be hurt, and nobody needs to be hurt.
Okay, now look, here's where we are on this. Do you count your history with him of 30 years and your family and all the things that you talked about treasuring so much? Does that have a value? Does that have a valence? Does that have a weight to you?
Absolutely, it does. I love my husband.
You love your husband.
I've always loved my husband.
And you've got a history with your husband.
I do.
But then on the other hand, there's Lawrence, and it's fresh and it's exciting.
It is.
And it makes you feel valued and wanted and kind of re-energized your self-worth which had been seriously damaged.
That's correct.
But there's a big difference between falling in love and being in love. Falling in love is like skydiving. It's fun, it's exciting, it's exhilarating. Being in love is like landing and not killing yourself. I mean, there's a difference between the two.
Yeah, but I didn't plan to fall in love with him.
No,
I
I'm
wasn't
not
looking
saying
for that.
he pushed you out of the plane. I get that, but
He's telling me that he's never loved. He's 57 years old, and he's never loved a woman the way he's loved me. But I'm at the point where now, I don't know if I want to be married ever again.
it's time for me to tell you what I think.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
No.
The odds are against you here, you and Lawrence. I mean, I'm not saying he's not fun to go to the lake with.
Right.
Lake Lawrence is
Right.
probably a lot of fun. But at home, Lawrence,
She's mentioned his flaws already.
all of that.
Well,
I mean,
a woman is a piece of glass, and you got to remember, you got to keep those edges polished. You have to, you got to
Always
take
have.
care of her. You have to, make her feel like a woman.
Lawrence said that?
No, I told him.
Oh, you told him. Okay. Right. Well, the thing is, right now, when you look at your husband, you see this other woman.
I do.
When you look at Lawrence, you see Lawrence.
I see Lawrence.
At the lake, hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah. He's handsome.
All that, right?
Look at him. He is handsome.
Yeah, he's
57 years old.
Yeah, he's handsome. I'm sure Danny.
I mean,
thinks
he's offered me a life that I never wanted.
Has the boy got some money? I mean,
Well, he can provide me financial
trying to buy her,
security.
no doubt.
He wants me to be happy.
what you know is what Lawrence has told you.
Lawrence from the beginning took me to meet his very closest friends because he wanted me to know who he was.
Right.
And he has.
Well, that's helpful.
He has. But he was upset because I kept him in the closet. I wouldn't bring him around my family. But my daughter is not going to allow another man to be in her children's life as Mimi or Pap.
No.
And that's
It
weighing
is.
heavy on me.
It is.
It is weighing heavy on me,
Well,
all that.
all right. It's time for me to tell you what I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I say something?
No.
She was there for me when she was there for me during my mental separation, and now I am there for her. I am her husband, and I'm just going to be there for her. I have an unconditional. She's doing what she feels like has the right to do right now, and is it painful? Yes, absolutely, but I cannot give up on this woman.
Yeah. You a hound dog?
What's the definition of that?
Well, you skirt chaser? I mean, you
absolutely
going
not.
after another woman sometime? I mean,
Absolutely
these are the
not.
things that she has to weigh in her mind.
I understand that.
He wouldn't
I
even look at
understand.
women because he knows I'd bop him upside the head. That's disrespectful.
I have
That is
tried to be-
Which you've
disrespectful.
done.
Well, only in a moment of rage, I lost myself when I found out that he was with that woman and all those nasty text messages.
And you boxed his ears.
I busted him up pretty good. I didn't think I could ever do that.
I've tried to be
Dr.
the
Phil,
best-
he took me to a place I never want to go again.
Okay, well-
A woman doesn't act like that.
No. You are still hugely pissed. If you want to be happy and at peace this time next year, then you will make the investment of doing what I'm going to ask you to do. Would y'all like to hear what I think about this?
I do. That's why I'm here. I have to go to court Monday.
That's why we're here.
So we're down to the wire here.
We are. I have to fly back to West Virginia today, and I have to contact my attorney by Friday.
You have unfinished emotional business with him.
I do.
You are still hugely pissed.
I'm hugely pissed, and I'm, Dr. Phil, here's the thing. I've loved this man with all my heart. Sexually attracted to him after 33 years, can't get enough. I'm sorry.
No, I
I'm
get
sorry.
it. I get it. Look, here's the thing. Lawrence, charming, fun, high-risk guy, though, right? You recognize the high
Right,
risk? I'm
right.
telling you, high risk. Okay, here you have unfinished emotional business. And I always tell people there is a time to get a divorce. And you know when that time is. The time is when you can walk out that door and say, I have turned over every stone. I have investigated every possible avenue of rehabilitation. I have no unfinished emotional business with this person. If you walk out mad, sad, whatever, in some emotional deflected area, then you're not ready to get a divorce. If you want to be happy and at peace this time next year, then you will make the investment of doing what I'm going to ask you to do. Give me 90 days to arrange some very specialized help for the two of y'all to work through where you are right now. If Lawrence is for real, he will step back and respect that, and he'll be standing there on the 91st day. If you go with Lawrence right now, you will spend the rest of your life wondering what it is that caused you to walk away from a 30-year family. Your daughter, the grandchildren, that all of the things that y'all created together. And it's going to have to involve forgiving him. That doesn't mean you will forget it, but you will have to forgive it. And forgiving is a choice. It's not a feeling that comes over you one day, like a midlife crisis. It's something that you choose to do, you choose to own, and it really has nothing to do with him. It has to do with you saying, let God judge that, but I'm not going to be held in that emotional bond for the rest of my life.
I'm tormented
of bitterness. You got to be willing to let that go. And there may be some things, you may need a pound of flesh before you do that. There may be some things you need to work out. And I will arrange some just as our gift to y'all, I will arrange some very specialized help to do this. Give me 90 days, or if it's 60 days, whatever the intensity is, but I need a period of time for you to finish this business and then look at him where you don't see that other woman. You see the man that you spent 33 years with that got dinner ready for you so you could watch me. Okay? If I arrange this for you, and I will start it right now. By the time y'all get back, where you're in the air, this will be getting worked on for you to get this help and move forward. Will you give us that time?
do.
Now, there's a kicker. No Lawrence during that time.
Okay.
No Lawrence during that time. You got to say.
Starting right now?
You can talk to him. You can talk to him and tell him what you're going to do at that period. But you never solve problems in a marriage by turning away from your partner. And you never solve them by bringing in a third party.
Okay.
Okay, so will you do that?
I will. I will.
Fair enough?
I will. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough?
Thank you. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. That's why I was telling you. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. See you all. See you guys.
Today on Dr. Phil.
We're driving drunk.
It only took 6 seconds to go from laughter to dead silence.
Desaline was the only survivor of a crash that killed both friends.
She still wants to party. She still wants to drink.
Do you have a death wish? Have you gotten in cars since then with drivers who are drinking?
Yes, I have.
I want to show you something. This is a video of what appears to be a normal night out. Friends having a good time, dancing and partying. The problem is they're teenagers. They're drunk and about to get in a car. 3,000 pounds of metal careening down the road. What's different about this story is that every second of what you're about to see was captured on tape.
We're driving drunk. We got tonight. We know where we go. Yeah. We're trying to scratch. Pick University Boulevard.
We need emergency right now. There's people trapped in the car. There's 3 people.
Sorry, my sister-in-law. Dad, nobody's moving. She's not moving. She looks dead. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the way. Oh my God, she looks dead. Oh my God, she looks dead.
Hey, stop this. We're going to get you out in a minute, okay? She's dead. We don't need that right now.
Horrific late-night crash. 2 young women are dead and another is in the hospital.
Friends say that these women were coming home from a party. Their vehicle went off the road, it hit the fence, and then it hit this brick embankment.
During the crash, they hit the brick so hard. The SUV crumbled. Parts flew into the tree and even the power lines.
Everyone is devastated.
Tamara Johnson was just 19. Police say she was sitting in the back seat. The driver, Janice Richards, was 22. Both died at the scene. The only survivor is 18-year-old Desaline James. They crashed just 1.5 miles from Desaline's house.
Well, the only survivor of that horrific car crash is that young woman, Desaline. Will never be the same.
On December 29th, there was this new club that opened, so we decided after work that we were gonna go out to the club. I was with 2 of my friends, one of them being my roommate and my best friend, and another girl who was her coworker. My dad got me a new video camera. I recorded everything. I remember dancing, having fun.
Please go to your car and drive home safe.
I remember we were driving home.
We're driving far. We got tonight. We know where we going. Yeah.
When I woke up in the car after the accident, I called Tamara's name 3 times. I remember her not answering me, but I was stuck. I didn't know what was going on. Like, I knew trouble, but I didn't know death. I remember them covering my face, and I remember the fireman lifting me out the car after they cut the door open. And I remember him lifting me onto the stretcher. When I went to the hospital, that's when they were like, you were in a serious car accident. The police came into the room. I was like, where's Tamara? And he was like, wait, nobody told you yet? They're dead. I just broke down. I was in the hospital for 5 days. My left hip was injured. I couldn't walk. I suffered from short-term memory loss. And when I got out, I was in a wheelchair. A lot of times when I would go to sleep, I would have nightmares. It's now going on 2 years. I do have some nights where I stay up and I think about them. I think about what happened. The one thing about the accident that I can't get out of my mind is seeing my friend's dead body, seeing my friend take her last breath.
Well, even though she was discharged from the hospital after 5 days and began the road to physical recovery, she says her emotional scars are still raw and far from healed.
After the accident, I kind of had survivor's guilt, knowing that my best friend died. Tamara deserved the life more than me. What was really unfair about that night was I felt like she didn't deserve to die because she wasn't a drinker, she didn't drink, and her life was taken. The hardest part about moving on after I got out of the hospital was going back to an empty house, having to pack her stuff up. I would go there to cry. I would go to her grave to talk to her. She was my friend that I spent like 99% of my time with.
Well, Desaline, I'm glad to meet you, but I'm sorry for the circumstances under which we're doing it. And I'm sorry for your loss. You lost 2 very good friends. Who was it on the tape that says, we're driving drunk tonight?
Me.
What was the exact quote?
If we die tonight, we know where we're going.
How do you feel about hearing yourself say that now, after the fact?
Well, at first I felt guilty because I kind of felt like I jinxed us in a way.
How were you able to get in the club and buy alcohol underage?
It was easy, you know. At the time, it was really easy. You just pay at the door and you go in.
This is a video snapshot of the last moment your best friend was alive. Now, this was taken in the car, and she's happy and alive, and y'all are having a really good time.
Yes.
Did you make mistakes that night?
Yes, I did. No.
What was wrong? What did you do wrong?
I got into the car knowing that Janice was drunk. I got into the car. I drank. That was wrong.
Well, it's interesting that you start your explanation there. I have one goal here, and that's to help you get better. But to do that, I have to know where we're starting. And I said, what did you do wrong that night? And you said, well, got into the car knowing the driver was drinking. You didn't say going to a club underage. You didn't say getting drunk and impairing my own judgment. You didn't have any problem with any of that. It was just getting in the car. Was there a reason that you didn't mention that you, A, shouldn't have been there to begin with, B, were committing a crime, drinking underage? Do those things matter to you at all? Do you think about it that way?
No, I don't see it that way. Yeah. I don't see nothing wrong with going to the club. Maybe drinking underage, I see something wrong with that. But I just went out to have fun.
It was breaking the law to do what the two of you that were underage were doing. How old was the driver?
22.
And your friend was 19. And she wasn't drinking at all. Why not?
She's not a drinker. She doesn't like alcohol.
She looked like she was sure having fun.
Yes.
How about you? Can you have fun without drinking?
I can try.
But do you generally, or do you feel like you need to be drinking to party?
I mean, I've never had fun sober.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never had fun sober. Why do you think that is?
Because when you're a little tipsy, you have more fun.
That's shocking to me to hear you say. And I haven't had a drink in probably 40 plus years, and I have a hell of a good time. So I know it's possible to do that. But this happened 2 years ago, and you said your mistake was getting in the car with a drunk driver. Have you gotten in cars since then with drivers who are drinking?
Yes, I have.
Wow. How do you explain that?
I can't explain it. I was more cautious. I made sure that they were driving straight, I guess.
Straight?
I spoke to them. I was like, you know what happened to me in the past, and they assured me that they were fine.
Well, Desaline says her life took another unexpected turn after she contacted the local news in an effort to help other teens. Take a look at this.
One day, I was watching the news. I remember Andrea McCarran popped up on our TV.
Andrea joins us live to show us a place teenagers have allegedly been buying alcohol for years.
It is illegal to sell under 21.
No ID, no stay.
I remember emailing Andrea, and I was like, I would like to share something with you. I would like to help.
Even though she's just 18, Desaline said it was no problem getting alcohol.
Maybe I'm here to save somebody else. The rules and the limitations of going into the club, they weren't so strict on alcohol, but after they were.
You're about to see and hear 2 young people die. 3 exuberant young women hurtled from sheer joy to this in just 6 seconds.
Most people were upset about the fact that the video went viral and felt like I should have respected my best friend and my friend's death. My intentions were not to impact the family any worse than they were already impacted by it.
We agonized over whether to show it, but the young woman behind the video camera urged us to do so. She hopes, as we do, that it will save someone's life.
Okay. Now, how do you think you're doing adjusting to this?
Well, at first, when the accident first happened, I was like, okay, well, maybe if I help other people, then I would get over it. But then after I did that, nothing changed. I didn't feel better about myself. I didn't I still had survivor's guilt. So I just stopped doing that for a while, and I just went into this phase where I went back drinking. It was my I didn't care phase. I didn't care about life.
I understand. But you're angry. But you say you're not angry about the accident. Were you angry before the accident?
I think I'm angry at God or whoever caused the accident.
Now, there were two people who saw that news piece that we just had a look at who have major concerns for Desalene's life. Now, they're here. I'm going to add them to this conversation when we come back.
I am concerned that Desaline is on a self-destructive path.
She likes to party, going off drinking for days at a time.
Desaline has a problem with anger.
She wants to kill whoever made her upset.
If Desaline does not change her path, she could lose her life.
And later, I'm not ignorant.
No, you're not being ignorant. You're just irritating.
And I am listening to you. I'm here to help you.
When the accident first happened, I just started living reckless because I was just angry. I blamed everybody except for me and my two friends. I admit that sometimes I do have fits of rage and anger. I become a different person. When I get angry, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna fight you. I'm not pulling your hair. I'm not slapping you. We don't fight like men. When I have a fit of rage, I black out and I'm out for blood. You see the devil in me.
Well, that was Desaline, the sole survivor of a drunk driving car accident that killed her two friends 2 years ago. It only took 6 seconds to go from laughter to dead silence. Now, since the accident, Desaline says things have gone from bad to worse. Then, strangers stepped up. They offered to help.
We heard Desalene's story on the news.
Desaline was just 18, videotaping a night of partying from the front passenger seat of a friend's car, when the life she had known was shattered in a matter of seconds.
I'm still in denial.
Desaline was the only survivor of a breathtaking crash that killed both friends.
What struck me the most about her story was that at such a young age, she had lost her friends in a car accident. That could be best described as horrific.
Where I'm at now, it would have been better if I had died.
That was Desaline less than 5 months ago, when her life had taken another devastating turn. Her mother threw her out of the house when she learned Desaline was pregnant.
Everybody turned their backs on me. My life has gone completely downhill.
When I heard Desaline was homeless and pregnant, I knew we had to help her.
Brenda contacted the reporter, and we changed the guest room into her bedroom, and here we are. I am concerned that Desaline is on a self-destructive path.
She likes to party, going off drinking for days at a time.
Desaline's lifestyle includes what she calls the trap life, where you party, you drink, you smoke, and it's all about going 100 miles an hour all the time.
Most of the time when she goes out and she comes back, she's high.
Desaline has a problem with anger.
When Desaline's raging, she wants to kill whoever made her upset.
She will say things like, I will have you and your whole family killed, I'll walk over someone's grave.
Most recently, Desaline was in a fight at work with another young lady in the parking lot. The police were called.
I told Desaline that if she gets arrested, I'm not bailing her out.
Stop calling my phone or I'm gonna cuss y'all out. Bye.
With Desalene's anger problems, I've been concerned that she would hurt someone in the house.
If Desaline does not change her path, she could lose custody of her son. She could lose her life. Desaline is saying that she wants success, but I don't think she knows how to get there.
Well, Brenda, Michael, I'm glad to meet the two of you, and God bless you for stepping up in this young girl's life. What moved you to do that?
Every time I see that video, I kind of cry, you know? And I made a comment to my family when it first aired, and then my wife said that she would follow up, and she got in contact with the correspondent, and everything moved from there.
Are y'all glad that you've come to know her and that you've taken her in?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about the fact that they stepped up and took you in?
I'm okay with it. I'm glad.
You're okay with it?
I'm happy.
You're still not drinking age, but do you feel like you drink too much?
I drank, but I don't drink. I don't think I drink too much. I might drink too much at the time when I'm drinking, but not every day.
You said it helps you numb the pain.
Yes.
How many seconds do you think it took for your friends to die?
Well, 6.
And you feel guilty that you're still here?
Yes, sometimes I do.
Do you have a death wish?
No, I don't.
Because you seem to be behaving in a reckless fashion. And one of the things I know about people that are reckless is they're not just daredevils. There's a segment of that group that just doesn't really care. It's just kind of like, I probably don't deserve to be here anyway. I mean, I probably shouldn't have survived, so, you know, what the hell? Do you have an attitude about that?
Sometimes I do.
And what is it? What is that attitude? What do you say to yourself sometimes?
I don't care.
About?
Anything.
Yeah.
Including whether you live or die?
Maybe, yeah.
Do you think she has a death wish?
I wonder.
How about you, Brenda?
No, I don't think so.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I made some notes because I wanted to see if this was right. Would you agree that you're still out there partying?
Yes.
And you say there's nothing wrong with that. It's just girls having fun, right?
Yes.
But you're a mother now.
Yes.
You'll leave the baby with these people sometimes for 2 or 3 days and go stay with your sister and y'all party, right?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Is that reasonable to you?
Yes.
That's reasonable to you. And how old's your baby?
6 months.
6-month-old baby. All right, well, let's take a break. We're going to meet Desalene's twin, who says she was supposed to go out that fatal night, but she didn't. We'll hear why she changed her mind when we come back.
When Desaline is hanging out with her sister, that usually means that there's alcohol involved.
When I get around my twin sister, I will drink more than I should.
Sometimes I expect to get a call saying that she's locked up.
And later, was she responding to something that she thought you had done or not done?
I don't care what she thinks. Just don't call me a bad mom because I'm a
Well,
good
you obviously
mom.
do care what she thinks because you were going to put your baby in the back seat and go whip her ass. We're talking Desaline, the sole survivor of a teen drunk driving accident that claimed the lives of her 2 friends. Now, she's been trying to live in the present, but even her twin sister says that she just hasn't been able to let go of the past. Take a look at this.
Desaline calls me when she wants to go out and have fun.
When I am around my sister, I feel like she encourages me to drink and party.
Desaline is a bit like Peter Pan. She doesn't want to grow up. When Desaline is hanging out with her sister, she likes to, as she says, turn it up, and that usually means that there's alcohol involved or some kind of substance.
When I get around my twin sister, I will drink more than I should.
I've been worried when she's out with her sister drinking and partying that something's going to happen. Sometimes I expect to get a call saying that she's locked up.
Desiree, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
I've said I have some concerns that emotionally she is damaged by this. She is hurt by this still. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. I think so. When she gets mad, I guess she just gets like psycho mad.
What are you shaking your head about?
They'll get psycho mad. Some people contain their anger and then they have to battle it within themselves. I let it out so I don't have nothing to battle when I go to sleep at night.
What are we likely to see when you get upset?
Well, I talk to myself first. Like, I tell myself, is this person really serious? Like, do they know who they're messing with?
Have you bloodied her nose before?
Yes, I did.
No, but you blooded my lip, not my nose.
Your lip. Now, when you get mad, you say you kind of black out?
Yes, sometimes.
You just have blank, you don't know what all happened in there.
Like, I mean, I know what I'm doing, but it's just, I can't control my anger. Like, I have to get you.
Do you get so mad that you have said, I will kill you and your whole family?
Yes. I'm not violent. I'm actually a very sweet person. You have to bring me out of character and take me to that point where I'm going to put hands on you for me to tell you that stuff.
Okay, and what gets you there? What kind of things get you there?
People being ignorant, you not listening to me, you talking over me, you threatening me, not giving me, sometimes, like, not giving me what I want, and basically, like, irritating me.
How am I doing?
You getting up there.
I'm climbing the ladder?
Yes.
I mean, I know I've passed irritating.
Yeah.
I'm irritating you.
Very much so.
Twin, that's not nice.
You what?
She said that's not nice.
But I'm not ignorant.
No, you're not being ignorant. You're just irritating.
And I am listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help you. I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm not trying to be critical of you. I think you made some serious mistakes that night, and you admit some of them, and I mentioned the others. But I also think that you were a victim as well. All right, let's take a break. Next, Dessalene claims to love being a mom, yet she also says her 6-month-old annoys her too when he cries, and she admits to almost throwing her baby across her car in anger. I said almost. She didn't do it. Was what happened thing that caused her to have an extra steep hill to climb in being able to connect as a mother? We'll be right back.
Dessalene has little patience and tolerance for Jada.
She still wants to party. She still wants to drink. Jada's here. She goes out and does what she wants to do, and then she comes back.
Where's your toys?
Dessalene had told me in the past that she never wanted kids.
When Dessalene said that, I was a bit shocked, but the reality is she has a child. She is a mother.
I never wanted kids. Since I'm a new mom, one of the hardest things for me is when he's crying. I've changed him, I've burped him, I've fed him. Like, nothing is working. It annoys me. I lose all hope. I don't know what to do. It gets me angry.
There's been times when she's put him out of her room and just left him in the hole because he was crying.
My biggest fear, if I don't change my rage, anger, and drinking, is that I'm gonna end up losing my son.
I'm curious, you say that your fear is that if you don't get, like, your rage and maybe your drinking and partying under control, that you could lose your son.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that?
Because maybe I can get angry and hurt him, but I would never do that.
But do you think about it sometimes?
Yeah.
You think about hurting? What do you think about?
I think about maybe if I get too angry. Well, I never get angry at my son. First of all, I never get angry at my child. Only reason I almost threw him I didn't throw him. Like, somebody was irritating me. I wanted to put him in the car seat. The car seat was on the other side of the car. So I, like, put him in the car seat, and I was gonna get that person.
Done, by the way.
She called me a bad mom.
Why did she do that?
Because she talked too much.
I mean, was she responding to something that she thought you had done or not done?
I don't care what she thinks. Just don't call me a bad mom because I'm
Well,
a good
you obviously
mom.
do care what she thinks because you were going to put your baby in the back seat and go whip her ass. So you do care, obviously, what people
I
think.
care about like the fact that she had all the nerves in the world to come call me a bad mom. That's what I care about. I don't care about her actually deep thinking and thinking, oh, Desaline is a bad mom. I don't care about that. The fact that you had enough nerves to come say it to me, you deserve an ass whooping. So she was gonna get it.
Right there with your baby there.
No, he was gonna be in the car seat.
Oh, you were going to put him in the car seat and then you were going to have a fight beside the car.
Come back, right?
No, inside the car.
Oh, inside the car?
Yeah,
Why didn't the fight happen?
because of Mike.
Yeah. You got fired from a job, right?
Yeah,
Why did you get fired?
because I fought my coworker.
Am I right in understanding she was 16?
Maybe. I don't know how old she was.
Do you know what happens if that happens? I mean, do you understand
Yeah,
assault
now.
and battery on a minor
Yes, it was explained to me.
and jail and baby? So we got baby, I can whip this girl, go to jail. Where's the baby then?
I wasn't thinking about that at the time.
You don't think you party too much?
I'm 20 years old.
Oh, you just wanted to remind me that you're not legally drinking age yet? Thank you. We've talked to these folks about behaviors that are questionable in terms of your parenting. I made a list. I'll tell you what it is, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. They observe that you're on the phone or FaceTime and that that's a top priority versus your child,
I disagree.
okay? That you get annoyed when the baby cries.
I disagree.
That you have others at home that hold and care for the baby.
All right, I can do it by myself.
September 13th, you fight with this underage employee at work. You get fired from your job. You get your last paycheck and you give it to your sister for rent. And they say on average of about twice a month, you go to Desarine's to party for 3 to 5 days while they babysit.
It's not 3 to 5 days. It's just like from Friday to Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Yeah.
That's 3 to 5. You don't think you party too much?
I only go out like once or twice a month. I'm 20 years old.
You just wanted to remind me that you're not legally drinking age yet? Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. But look, here's my concern. I think that what happened to you in that car crash was the result of irresponsible and reckless behavior on everyone's part. I think it was reckless for them to serve you in that club. I think it was reckless for them to let you leave and get in a car and take off when somebody was drunk. I think your attitude was reckless and cavalier and saying, boy, if we get killed tonight, we know where we're going. I think it was reckless to be doing 94 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone and hit a brick wall and kill 2 people. So what I look at is, did you learn from that?
Yes,
Because after the fact, I see here's her behavior before this event happened. Here's her behavior after this event happened. I see some things going on with you that I think you are suffering from PTSD. I haven't evaluated you fully. I haven't done all the right tests. I haven't scanned your brain, done psychometrics. But based on what I'm seeing, that would be on my short list of considerations. I think that you are out there venting anger in a violent way, and you don't have the right to do that when you have a child at home. That's just what I'm telling you. And next, we return to the crash site with the affiliate reporter who covered this story. We're going to talk about what I mean when I say PTSD and from where it emanates. We'll be right back.
The car came barreling up on the sidewalk. You could see tire treads on the grass here, catapulted up onto this brick wall. The crash was so violent that it actually flung parts of the vehicle into the air, and all the time, Dessalines was rolling videotape. They were traveling, according to police, at speeds of 94 miles per hour. This is a 40-mile-per-hour zone. They came around that bend, and it was clear the driver lost control. The car came barreling up on the sidewalk. You could see tire treads on the grass here, catapulted up onto this brick wall. The crash was so violent that it actually flung parts of the vehicle into the air, and all the time, Dessalines was rolling videotape. And what was particularly chilling is the tape continued to roll, even after the death of her two friends. Has anyone ever seen videotape of a drunk driving crash in progress that leaves two young people with promising lives dead? After Dessalines survived something so traumatic, I don't think it's all that surprising that she ended up pregnant, that she was tossed out of the house, that she continued to drink, because frankly, she never got the help that she desperately needs. And I believe Dr. Phil can give Dessalines the help she needs.
Well, we're very fortunate today because joining us from the audience is that reporter that you just saw, news reporter Andrea McCarran. Andrea, you didn't just report this as another story on the news. You created a cautionary tale here. You created a story within the story that changes people's lives when they watch it.
Dessalines and I spoke. I took her with me on speaking engagements. We spoke to young people. She was brave enough to share that horrific video so other young people wouldn't have to live it.
You know, you said that afterwards, and you said at the very top of the show, that you did this and things didn't change for you. The pain didn't ease, things didn't change for you. And I want you to know why I think that's the case. And when I say that on the short list of diagnostic considerations that I would have would be PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, the symptoms of that are dreams and nightmares, intrusive recollections, reliving the trauma as illusions or kind of like hallucinations or dissociative flashbacks, intense psychological distress at exposure to certain cues, psychological reaction to cues, avoiding thoughts, feelings, or conversations, avoiding activities, places, or people, feeling of detachment, irritable or aggressive behavior. Joining us now is Dr. Frank Lawless. He's the president of our advisory council, and he is the author of the PTSD Breakthrough, the revolutionary science-based Compass Reset program. Frank, you and I have talked about this, and you believe that she may well be suffering from PTSD, correct?
Absolutely. She meets most of the symptomatology, and especially with regard to the kind of brain dynamics that are common with PTSD. I think she clearly is part of that picture.
Yeah, and in your defense, and I think you need one, with regard to some of the choices you're making, some of this is involuntary. on your part, I believe. And I'll tell you guys why. This is the human brain, okay? And there is a part of the brain that's called the amygdala. And it is very important because it's kind of a recording device. And I'm gonna let Dr. Lawless talk us through this and show us what it is. All right, Frank, go ahead.
Okay, the amygdala is kind of like, as you said, more of a recording of the emotional component of memory. So if you have a memory and the amygdala doesn't record anything, then it basically just becomes a memory. But in certain kind of traumatic situations, it records that permanently until you can dissolve it and resolve it.
And so that trauma can be relived and relived and relived, both consciously and unconsciously, which can leave you emotionally distraught until something happens. And there are ways to deal with it, Dr. Lawless, correct?
Absolutely.
And nurturing and healing the brain. And a couple of examples of what you do are changes in nutrition and hyperbaric chamber. The second thing that's important is cleansing the brain of toxins and poisons. And you have to make reconnections and take control of the disoriented brain. And this is done with biofeedback. Do you get that there's brain involvement here that might be causing you to experience rage and make certain decisions that you might not otherwise be making? And you need help with all of this.
Yeah.
And do you think you do?
I think I need a little help.
A little help?
Yes. Because
Okay.
I don't, like, I'm not crazy.
Nobody's saying that.
I'm a great mom.
Crazy wasn't on that list that I just went over.
I'm a absolutely awesome mom. And only thing I need help with is, like, anger and like, forgetting that night, and then that's what's on my list.
What's on your list is get rid of the anger and not let that night keep coming back to haunt you.
Yes.
You really want to be free of that, right?
Yes.
All right. There's someone with a message for Desaline when we come back. People have been tweeting throughout the show, and one of our viewers, Dana Bardson, tweeted, "You survived the crash for a reason. You're not only responsible for your son's life, you need to live for those other girls as well." And we're going to flip Dana from Twitter up to Polly. Hi, tell me what you mean by what you were just saying to Desaline on your tweet.
Having been through trauma myself at 17, I know it's hard to get through, and I know that there's a difference between just surviving and then moving on to then live your life. And I don't think that you're living your life when you're medicating yourself with alcohol and substances.
You're exactly right. I mean, that's what I'm saying, and I appreciate you adding to it because you do relate to her. You've been through a terrible, terrible ordeal, and you need help to get back to being who you are. And I want to offer, not here, but back home. I want to arrange for you to have the treatments that we discussed here. And I think as you look at these things, as some of this fog clears in your brain, I think you will look at, wow, I can do a better job here. And I think you have a problem with rage, which you agree. I think you have a problem with alcohol, which I don't think you agree with. I think you just think you party sometimes. And if you need help with that, I will help you with that as well. You need help. I think you deserve help.
Absolutely.
I know your son deserves for you to get the help. And I'm offering it to you if you will take it.
Yes.
Will you take it? Leah? Okay, good. All right, I'd like to thank all of my guests today and all of the viewers that live tweeted. A special thanks to Dr. Frank Lawless. For more information on his book, PTSD Breakthrough, log on to drphil.com. And a special, special thanks to Andrea McCarran from our Washington, D.C. affiliate, WUSA. Thank you so much.